Gamers and gamettes, this RGL.GG Advanced Highlander match. We're in Season 19, Week 4 of Advanced, and we're coming here with the Invite regular season. One more week in it. Not too many great matches, but we're looking down to the top of Advanced for something a little bit different before Invite playoffs kick off. We have Mr. Warabi Corporation, definitely not going to mispronounce that again, sitting at 3-0 atop of the table, and Dad 2 back with Milk sitting at 2-1, fighting for will definitely be a match we'll likely see again in playoffs. I am Alto, joined by Rogue to my side, Dolphin behind the camera as always. Rogue, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm good. I didn't get to enjoy these team names as much before our cast, but now that I realize how funny that Dad 2 back with Milk is, I'm in for a good one. And like you said, these teams are sort of neck and neck here, like both on the upper end of the advanced division. So anyone not super familiar, Invite this season is the top 6, well now top 5 teams in North America. So these are the ones vying again for that, like whoever wins advance, even first, second, and third, you're in the top 10 in North America here in Highlander. So yeah, this is sort of the beginning of greatness for a lot of these players who will go on to a fabulous career, and others will be holding head in hands saying, why couldn't I have just gotten on the card at the last second? If only it could have been me, I could have saved it all. But there's plenty of time for regret later.
Yep, we'll just for a bit of context right now, as we said, Warabi 3-0. They're sitting on the top of the table. Dad 2, lots of players on this roster. Essentially, I believe won advanced last season, but didn't make that jump up. With some of the other teams coming back into Invite this season, so a bit of off classes running around for them right here against Warabi, who have been sticking together for quite some time. They won main in season 17. This is their 3rd season as a team overall, so good to see. Good to see anytime you see a roster kind of stick around through divisions. That's always a nice thing to see. And they are again the favorite, going to be looking like the favorites coming into this. As you'll notice that Dad 2 is 2-1, having lost to a team that isn't them yet. So a loss here would bring them to 2-2. But none of the wins for Warabi, 2 of them I don't believe have been clean. So they've been dropping rounds. So could really be anyone's game here tonight.
That's right, and I'll take a second and run you down some of the rosters here. Maybe I'll take Dad 2 back with Milk, where they have Holly playing Scout, Esper on Soldier, Jim Skims on Pyro, Fuzzy on Demoman, Kikora on Heavy, Brand Molvik on Engineer, Vandir on Medic. Shout out to the friend from Catch Us at LAN. Anyway, Lit on Sniper and Bloom on Spy.
And over on the side of Warabi, it will be Average on Scout, Suwala on Soldier, Hornet on Pyro. Give my own shout out to the homie. That'll be on Demoman, Maleficent on Heavy. I believe also Carter, another name some may have gone by in the past. Hard Hat Jones will be ringing Engineer, Zoomzy on Medic, Biscoff on Sniper, and Steven on Spy. So
yeah, you mentioned
yeah. I was gonna say, looking at these, I mean, lot of players that I think a lot of reviewers may recognize here. Either for some of them having kind of been around that Invite area. Jim's Gims, Esper as well. I think both names you might recognize. And then on the other side, you've got Zoomzy, who I think has been in Invite before as well. And some other players who have been kind of hanging around that main advanced area for a while. So if you're a player, you probably recognize a lot of these names. Hoping should be the first time I cast for a lot of them, and I mean, thinking really, you got to lean Warabi here just because they're up 3-0. But the players on Dad 2 have a ton of experience. They've been here before in advance, so not their main classes, but the knowledge is there.
Yeah, that's right. That veteran savvy goes a long way in matches like this, especially again on a payload where, for King of the Hill, it's like if someone manages to carry like, whoops, I got a 3K, suddenly we're winning the push. That's great. But here on payload, we're looking at, that longer back and forth. We're looking at the teams having to adjust, adapt, like, hey, our first and second pushes didn't work. What does it look like to win the third that we're going to try? That is all comes down to the veteran savvy. But like you mentioned, we do see a good amount of that on both of these teams. I mentioned that like Vandir and Jim's game, some friendly faces on Dad 2. Yeah, the Warabi Corporation. Yeah, Zoomzy is like showing a lot in invite. Yeah, like in the rest of the roster too, like you mentioned, it's these are always the contenders, and that's what makes it exciting for me because once one of these teams can like kind of crack that code, like, oh, like this is how I activate myself, or this is how I work best with the team, then like they really blast off after that.
Yeah, and I mean, what I like too is that, I mean, in both of these two teams, right, they've got multiple seasons together. You know, Dad 2 in this case, off-classing rather than making that jump up to invite, but, you know, you get multiple players on a roster for multiple seasons. That's where you really kind of start to form those bonds, and that can kind of be the core of a team that, maybe if Warabi win, they set themselves for potentially, being first seed, getting into invite next season, if we go that far. If Dad 2 are able to make another good showing, maybe they decide to make that jump. And I think you're much better off, really trying to climb over that hurdle with a bunch of, players that, you've known for a while, you know how they play, you're friends with, rather than just trying to, assemble a team of 9 for the sake of it. It's a little bit less mercenary, everyone's a little bit more emotionally invested. So, I mean, in that sense, I have high hopes for Warabi here. Winning main, moving up, having a season in advanced where it looks like they went 4-5. So, assuming they made playoffs and then probably went 0-2, but to stick around, keep a lot of the same players, improve, and now they're looking like a potential first seed here. Always we love to see improvement.
Mission begins in 10 seconds.
Well, here we go. You mentioned it was week number 4 for advanced, right? We have
Yes.
Dad 2 versus Mr. Warabi Corporation starting off on Vigil. Here we go.
Yep, gates opened. It will be Warabi starting off on offense with Dad 2 over here on defense right now. A couple players I want to look at in classes you may not be used to. I'm looking at Brand Mulvik on Engineer, Jim's Gims on Pyro. Jim's, I think, I'm very interested to see how he plays as Steven's going to find Kokora right off the bat, and we already have a pause. Oh, I get to talk about my players, guilt-free. Jim's Gims and Bran, both former sniper players, and I think that it's always. Dolphin said,
looks like we had
yep.
just a lag out here.
Oh, and I think Dolphin said that was Vandir, so med lag out is very likely going to. If it's I'm getting word that Vandir's lagging. If there's a full disconnect, we may end up seeing a re-exec here, given how early it is. But we'll let you know more as we get it. But Jims and Bran, both former sniper players. Always interesting to see how they switch over because that, usually a decent amount of aiming skill needed. Bran Mulvik, I want to highlight as anyone who had the experience of playing against him on sniper. Absolute unhinged cannon of a player. Just, played sniper, but you think he was playing spy with some of the angles he's taking. As we do see an unpaused Van, this connection must be a little bit better. And Melissa and Swallow both going to go down. Esper going to be the trade kill, as a couple kills here have pushed the defense back to Hill on first.
And don't forget, so we're running here on the Source Television, replay, basically spectator thing, which is 90 seconds in the past. So where they paused, basically that'll be in ballpark 80 seconds away from right now. So we'll have to keep an eye out if that makes a difference for Vandir.
Yeah, that's a very quick first half coming out right here from Warabi. We've seen Invite get a little bit more experimental with the first holds. Nothing too much here. Now they'll be going in for a sack, not going to find anything, it doesn't look like. And Suwala as well, going to get taken out. Steven finding Biskov. Is that Biskov? No, that's Lit in the back line. So that sniper pick could be meaningful if they can get their players back in time. But, spawn timer's ticking down.
We'll keep an eye if Biskov is able to get anything done here with the kind of open sniper angle. Actually only just spawning now and is even in the tunnel, so not taking those big wide angles. They're clearing out the tunnel. Still not taking the Zuber in quite yet. It looks like they kind of wanted to pull the defense away, and they actually did. Fuzzy drops down to the main tracks along with Holly. Uber's exchange up on the hill, so not a lot of damage coming out from the Demo Man.
Yeah, Jim's doing a good job of stuffing that. Really no ground to be had in the post. And now Steven and Biskov both going to get caught out in that. So no pick classes right now on the side of Warabi here. The defense looking solid for that too. Some low health bars, though, is the one thing they got to watch out for. A couple of players backing up to go heal him without that sniper or spy, there's that many less bodies to worry about. Fuzzy gets caught up, but it's going to be the trade. Maleficent, though, coming up, finds Kokora. Esper's going to be next, but Bloom on the back line finds 3, and he hopes of a push that Warabi might have had. Bloom going to extinguish that.
Just for following up on the pause, it came and went, no big impact on the round, so that's great. But yeah, look at that. Like, you think, oh, the gun's down, we should keep pushing as the offense, but the longer you stay in the little funnel, the tougher it is. And what a trap. Actually, that'll be going down first right away. The soldier rebound back in, Esper getting some good damage across, and there's a huge ad for the defense on this Uber. And the medic going down again to Bloom on this high ground here. Zoomsy getting backstabbed. Lit getting a nice pick on the Hornet as well, so, you know, they're kind of dropping like flies here. If you can't seal that deal, you can't, like, cross the huge chasm over here, you know, get over the hill, you're gonna get turned up alive like that.
I'm actually really impressed with that defense from Dad 2 right there. The dry pressure we saw, you know, with the gun so far back coming out of Warabi is a really good thing to see. And I've seen a lot of seconds get pushed that way, but, you know, whether they were just dodging damage, playing the aggro right, or getting their focuses in, it's hard to say in the moment. But Dad 2 did everything they need to really not lose anyone during that. And Steven, cooking and Shutter gonna find Esper, but Average and Nattleby both caught out. Swallow gonna go down as well. That's a lot of firepower. Bloom's gonna get sniped, but that's only a spy. Maleficent walking up gets taken out as well. Most of your combat classes are dead right now, going to be Zoomsy and Biskov. Just kiting back down to the bottom of hill. The sniper is still maybe gonna take an SBS right now. Biskov finds Jims, took the get down, Mr. President, takes the shot for for Lit right there. As the Uber comes out now.
Ooh, I love this posturing from the defense Uber. They send most of the team back, but then Vander and Fuzzy use the last. So they're able to control this hill by themselves. The team is not taking damage. Bloom actually going again, but getting caught this time. Finally, now it's sort of a bloodbath here on hill. Kikora, Holly, Fuzzy all peeking this comfortable angle for the defense, but Hardhat Jones getting the cart not an insignificant amount away.
Yeah, what I was a little bit nervous there for Dad too, because you like to see a lot of, you know, aggressive posturing from the offense, getting that hill control for the post fight, especially with Lit having gone down. But Kikora's just been such a rock on this shed, picks up 2 kills in the post when, you know, if he had gone down, then you're looking at potentially a whole flood of blue players coming in. But again, continuing to hold here after what looked like a first or a quick first, second, we're probably nearing at least 4 minutes, right? Maybe even 5.
Yeah, you know, really, oh, nice shot from Lit onto Biskov, so this is going to make it very comfortable up here. Wait, Average and now is on the roof, burning, but still doing that damage. Swallow onto the gun, too. The gun almost goes down. It's 1 rocket away. Gets her healed back up. Now we're making our way. Even Nattleby getting stuck on the ground. Wait a second. Straight pipes Fuzzy. Even Uber's up here, but as we're picking up the Demo Man, Nattleby, sorry, in the tunnel, means that the Ubers have to wait and reset. So, yeah, like you said, this clock is getting beefy.
Looking at, you know, I'm seeing Average and Swallow jumping up on that roof, but Swallow's going for gun spam, you know, rather than, you know, trying to shoot down on the combo. I mean, A, the gun may, you know, potentially be denying them, but it feels like Warabi isn't practiced into this further back gun. You know, a lot of the times when you have this gun further back, it means you have to be more aggressive on hill. You know, it's not denying your immediate walk-up, it's denying your sackers, and it's denying more of the card pressure. Sticky Trap, gonna launch Nattleby forward, almost ended up getting sent way too far to catch. Swallow gonna land right in the middle of an Uber heavy, though, shot out of the sky. Cora continues to be a menace on this point, and that Uber gets nothing out of Warabi.
These like flashes on the heavy feel like every single Uber, it's like Kikora is hitting one person and like taking no damage doing it with this, thanks to this flash. Wait a second, Average flying forward, Nattleby flying forward. Right now Bloom is ready and waiting. Hardhat Jones looking back for the spy. Bloom ready, walking up, here we go. Caught out, there it is. So now, sure, Bloom doesn't get the pick, but they turn the Warabi here around for a long time. This card's getting reamed. I mean, Lit going nuts shooting these players on cart, the gun spamming out the players on cart. There's actually a pretty decent ad for Zoomsy if they're able to build fast enough.
Yeah, and I mean, again, this gun stays up, even though, you know, it's just putting out so much pressure. They almost had it. Felt like Steven went in a little bit too early. Got the sap on him, but there wasn't enough pressure. Steven again now in position, waiting to decloak right now. Looks like he's gonna go for the decloak, but not able to find anything. It looks like Lit's gonna lose the SBS though. And now the Uber coming in across hill. They're gonna drop Jims. He was not in that Uber, but he's gonna get a reflex pipe onto Biskov to kill the attacking sniper. As good of a farewell gift as you can get from your pyro. Vander does get the Uber off and saves a bunch of players. Kikora still alive, just barely. The absolute rock of this defense, but the blue blood is coming, and Kikora's ready for it. Average and Hornet gonna go down. They will finally take out that heavy, but he bought enough time to rest the team.
Ooh, Hard Jones keeping up this pressure just barely. And wait a second, the Sapper brings the gun down to 10 HP. The gun remains alive. There's so much pressure at its side tunnel here. And that'll be Sawala doing that explosive damage at the side. But the gun remains. This is the hold you want to see once the cart's this far forward, playing out on tracks. This is like high invite level play from the defense you mentioned. They're playing so solidly around this gun. Yeah, you want to like follow that ebb and flow of like keep them away from the hill, and then if they kind of have hill, just give it up because they can't get the cart too. So really, really well played out of Dad.
Yeah, just insanely solid defense here. I mean, Hardhat, I don't think has lost his gun. No, excuse me, that's not Hardhat, that's Brian Mulvey, has not lost his gun on this point, keeping it up on the rock. Uber now off on Cora on cart. We are in overtime. This is looking like a hard hold on second. Everyone on blue flooding in, pub effect, trying to work its magic here. They're going to pop Kakora up. He's out of ammo, but the fist out, and it will be enough. Kakora falls, the valiant hero of this second hold. But Warabi coming into the match undefeated, going to drop the... I say drop, I mean, it's not over yet, but gonna get hard held here on second by Dad 2, coming in with a vengeance.
Yeah, what a showing. Yeah, really like sneaks away from you on second here because, you know, the doors are so close. You know, a lot of other payload maps give you a lot of room for the, you know, getting a snipe or letting your spy do some damage, but second is so, like, close together. You don't get those luxuries. You gotta fight and win, or you fight and lose, right? So, for anyone not familiar with the rules, right now, either Dad has to cap first in fewer than 46 seconds, probably not going to happen, or they have to get any number of points after that. So as long as they just get second, basically, they win this round, and it's the best 2 out of 3 rounds.
Yeah, and again, if they get first in less than 46, they win right there, which, as you said, admittedly unlikely. And I mean, we'll likely see a little bit more defense coming out of Warabi here just to make sure they don't auto-lose on the first cap, because, I mean, if you've been playing this game enough, I think everyone's had a Swiftwater scrim where, like, you get hard-held on third, and then turn around and hard-hold them on second. You know, so it's possible, happens once in a blue moon, but, you know, this match is not over, again, heavily favored in Dad 2s for this half right now, but, you know, nothing stopping them from pulling a hard hold back, other than maybe their own mental, as players on Dad 2 gonna start taking over flank control.
Hard hold Jones.
They're gonna need that.
Not too much coming out yet. Average controlling the cart, literally scouting it out. Sawala going and seeing. Actually, there's a huge push from the combo, getting pretty far up. Lit, Fuzzy, and Kikora shoving all the way up this flank. So they're going to basically split the offense, and there we go. Lit can look 2 ways at once, gets backstabbed by this. Sorry. Whoa, Lit headshots missed up, my bad.
That's going to be it for first. Warabi got all the time they needed. They just needed to not lose that 46 there. So the cap will come in about 50, probably 55 seconds or so. And now 7 minutes to cap second, and that's it. You know, 7 minutes from now, the half will end one way or another. A second cap comes through, and it will go to Dad 2. Warabi going to need to hold for the entirety of this time. Otherwise, Uber coming out quickly, going to be popped back in favor of Zuzi, but Hornet dropped in this. Good stickies from Fuzzy. Bloom finds Maleficent in the backline. 2 combo members already down, and that's going to be Steven next. So a 9v6 in this post right now. The batter popped out from Suwala, but question how much it's going to do. Those are still some 7-second timers, and now Kikoro pushing up side tunnel, going to force everyone back right into Bloom's waiting butter knife. This cart is already halfway up the hill. The farther back gun gonna be doing a lot right there, but Viskov gets stabbed out under it. So many dead on the defense. The cart time finally coming in for offense. They're so forward. This might just be it.
Wow. And there we have it. Yeah, really quick one. Pushing the cart with, I guess, 9 minutes remaining. That much more time to take those attempts, but yeah, getting hard held on second and then kind of crumbling right away. That's a tough one, I think, for the mental game, you know. To recover from this one, I think, even if you are the better team, even if you just try and take it on the chin, sometimes these teams will be at each other's throats a little bit, so we'll see what it looks like for them to recover.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I didn't do as much of a player analysis coming into this simply because I'm not as familiar with enough of these names on enough of these classes to be able to give, you know, informed commentary, but if you showed me this log, you know, or if you showed me this game with, you know, no nameplates on, I would have told you that Kokoro was Carson, probably.
I agree. It's super well played.
Incredible performance in the middle of every fight, consistently getting kills, consistently being a nuisance. The only time they ever died on defense, it took an entire raid party to take them down, and it ended up getting, even if they went down, it was either, getting 2 kills and holding off a push, or drawing so much attention on cart that they lose the game anyway. So, really, really solid performance there, and I haven't even looked at the log.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you, like, in theory and like on all the premises you mentioned, because they're correct, but looking at this, like, now it's 18-4, top frag in the server. Not quite as good as some of those players with the infinite KD, including Holly, Brandon Molvik, and Vandir, going 2-0, dividing by 0 for this kill death ratio here. So a lot of players with a perfect half. But yeah, this is such an uphill battle. I mean, we saw like Biscoff getting some picks, Steven going again, getting 5. Like, having your pick classes be completely blown out, that's a tough one. But even now, like, Nattleby's damage is not so bad. Average was mostly just on the card the whole time. So basically, it's not like anyone in particular was like game losing on the side of Mr. Warabi. So it's more just like a team thing, like you mentioned, right? Like, the defense was so strong out of Dad that, yeah, I'm curious what they're going to basically bring into the second half here to try and crack it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to gain anything really looking at the numbers here. One team got gapped is really what's going to happen, right? You're not, oh, he went 14, Blue went 14-4, cool. Everyone had really good KDs. That's about all you need to know. What you need to really look at, right, is just how to push second, because that's where you're at right now if you're Warabi. There was a clear lack of what to do, because there were a couple of times where I thought they had the right idea in terms of there was that one spot where they had a lot of dry aggression. That gun in the passive spot back up on the rock, it's very safe, it's harder to sap, it's harder to take down, but what it does not do is stop you from walking uphill. It does not start shooting until you're roughly at the shed or so. So there's nothing stopping the players on Warabi from walking uphill, moving out to the left side, getting their sniper set up, getting those long angles, and it looked like they did that one time and just weren't able to execute. If we go back and, watch it in slow-mo, I might be able to tell you why. Can't tell you if it was just, players pushing at different times, bad focus, missing shots, or what, but it felt like they tried that and then said, okay, this doesn't work, let's not do that again. When in my eyes, I'm like, no, that you were close. Like, if a pipe lands here instead of missing, right, or, maybe a body shot lands, then maybe you end up winning the push right there. But if you're going to have the gun that far back, you have to be comfortable taking that dry pressure. And after that one time, it felt like they were only trying to win through exchanges.
Yeah, there's a call that I really like making, because, like you mentioned, even though it was sort of the right idea, the follow through was sort of lacking. So I like calling in those cases to, like, win hard for this fight. Like, kind of sell out for it in a way that, like, we can't afford really to sit here and not do too much with it. We need to either win this and, like, have enough material to push off it, or we may as well die faster and push again sooner anyway.
Yeah, and something that I feel like maybe lacks from TF2 a little bit, as it's not as developed as an esport, Zag and I talk about this sometimes, is that I feel like TF2 players in general are very prone to results-based analysis, when that is the exact opposite of what you want to be doing, right? You can have, a plan gifted to you from the heavens, but if everyone walks up and just misses all their shots, it's not going to work. And then TF2 players will be like, okay, that can't work, right? Then they make a wrong call, but their spy gets a triple chain stab, and they're like, okay, that's how we push. You know what I mean? Like, it's execution is always going to vary, so you have to judge the plans on their own merit. Something not working one time doesn't mean it's a bad strategy. That dry fight they had on Hill, who knows? That could have an 80% success rate, but you're gonna roll the 1-5 sometimes, and just because you do it once, you can't immediately write it off. As we have another pause.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, even earlier than the last go around. Yeah, here again, this is 90 seconds in the future, so probably someone actually had an issue, like, kind of right after the gates opened up. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it's not too bad. In any case, yeah, you're exactly right. It's those, like, you kind of have to take the high expected value plays. Yeah, I've done a million reviews of someone makes a huge mistake and they're like, yeah, but look, I survived, so that was a good play. Or like, they'll do something brilliant and it fails, and they're like you said, like, oh, I'll never try that again. So yeah, I think like getting almost all the way there, just like having that little nudge to get over the hill, so to speak, and also so to do. Yeah, it's basically that last step for them. I agree.
One thing, oh, actually, you know what? I was gonna say something, and then I remembered that, speaking of the heavens, they blessed us in the Lock and Load is banned. Because, one of the times I really liked that weapon for what it's supposed to be is that it opened up an angle to direct the gun from, like, the middle of hill, if you had the lineup right. But, no, because of what that weapon is, not what it's supposed to be, we do no longer have it. So that's hard. It's harder to deal with that. But, you can try a lot of different things, right? And if the execution is something, maybe too much to talk about in the halftime of a match, you can, I wasn't checking, but I would wager that I didn't think Steven was on Enforcer, right? You're having so much trouble with the gun, have your spy on Enforcer. If Sawal is able to get one rocket on it, all Steven needs to do is uncloak it, shoot it 2 or 3 times, and with it up on the hill like that, Brand Mulvik's not going to be able to repair it in time. There's tons of options you have here. The other thing, too, is that gun doesn't cover side tunnel. So maybe you have to focus more of your pressure there. There's options, is what I'm saying. And I feel like a lot of teams, when they struggle on Vigil second specifically, get the idea of we have to wait for Ubers. And in my experience, you've played more recently than me, I feel like more often than not, Vigil second is a point that's won through dry pressure and not Ubers.
Yeah, absolutely. The kind of point of Ubers anyway is that they don't, like, they prevent damage from happening. So if you want to have like a good Uber, that means the thing that happens after the Uber is the good part. Also, we just saw a quick repause. I thought my dementia, my schizophrenia here was kicking in. I'm getting old, guys. So, but no, it was a quick, like, they basically repaused the server to let them back in. We should go live any second. But I did want to share on second that, like, one way of pushing that point that keeps working out, and like talk about expected value plays, there's one where you like get your pyro into their shutter and people keep calling for it and saying it's really good. And the thing is, I'm not sure why. I don't know what they do, but every time I've tried it, it worked. So now I'm like, yeah, something about having your pyro in there and what they're capable of maybe is helpful. I don't know how or why. But that's another option of, like, again, crossing that distance of, like, if we can turn them around a little bit in the back, they can't get super comfortable. Our pyro can even peek wide on the low ground tracks, like on lava. They can, peek the enemy from out of sight of the gun. Another option, but yeah, these are those times to, like, kind of go above and beyond based off what's already working, and I see that as a good way forward.
Well, something I think maybe, I haven't seen this strat you're mentioning, but a reason why I think it can work is, you think about upward third, right? There are points where the way you win them is by killing everyone, as we suddenly have, as we do have the unpause coming through. And there are points you win by gaining space, right? What a Pyro Uber can do is buy you a lot of space. You see it on upward third, because it just pushes them back, and it means your card, cappers are untouched. And I have a feeling it's a similar thing there. You get everyone back in the shutter, it lets your sniper set up. When that post ends, it doesn't matter if you get kills or not, because you can just control all the space, get the cart, and they don't have any good angles to fight you.
Well, here we go. We'll keep our eyes on the shutter, rolling up to first. So in this case, we now can basically see what their offense actually looks like here from Dad. Now they're going to have to basically take first, second, third, and last. But in the meantime, we do have another pause.
Oh boy. And then I just hit a retry to try to get my everyone to stop everyone from sliding, and now I'm also caught out as well.
I even crashed when we between halves. Luckily I bought enough time. But it looks like they're gonna switch servers thanks to production here. Yeah, something going on. The server's kind of bugging out. We'll hopefully resolve all these issues moving forward with the next server.
Yep. Yeah. So likely, that's just gonna count as a re-exec, given how a little bit time we were into that round. So is there anything really to talk about other than Vigil second right now?
I got one. Hey, you at home, looking at this freaking rectangle that glows and makes us all sad sometimes. If you got a wallet, boy, do I have the website for you. If you go to merch.rgl.gg, You can see the RGL merch here. It's seasonal, so there's a bunch of releases where you can only get some of this now. You can get a ton of fun stuff. Like I actually got a bunch of the they have some notebooks that are super fun, like the Secret Strat notebooks. I'm excited to use those. Everything like mouse pads, hat, hoodies, stuff that directly supports the teams. So you can buy merch for some of these teams here in Invite Highlander and a lot in like what else? I don't know. The custom art from the RGL graphics team. There's even a way there basically to sort of subscribe to RGL, sort of like a Patreon where you get some extra content and a lot of thank yous to help support this league where it's only operating because of all of us working together here and make it all happen. So yeah, thanks again to all the staff and volunteers and everyone who works on making RGL what it is. And if you're at home, you want some cool stuff, go to merch.rgl.gg.
Absolutely. Great plug. As I just realized, I think I'm actually back in the old server. I guess the pause must have ended on that as they went to go change things around. But yeah, big fan of the merch this season's really good. When I saw that Secret Strat notebook, my immediate thought, I'm like, this is going to be in a Rogue YouTube short in about a month or so.
They made it for me. I'm sure.
There's a genre of video that I've seen you do, like what is it? It was like, you were on the fake hacker website and you're like, let me calculate the problem with my team's performance. And then you print out a sheet of paper that just says all equals bad or something. And I'm like, that's exactly what you're looking for. So, big fan of that. I mean, I think we're rerunning the animal prints. Again, you've got the snake, you've got the crab, you've got the frog. The steel shirt looks really cool, celebrating the best map in Highlander. So some good stuff there. Perfect time to check it out while we're waiting for the server to get reset back up again. It's actually neat as it looks like the server is still... Are you back in the server? Or are you in the server?
Oh, no, I'm not. And it looks like we're still switching it around.
Could do a bit of a fit check, but if you're not in here, then that's not really going to work. Looks like Dolphin's not in here either, so no one would even know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we to be honest, I think this is a really good mental reset. If you're oh god, I have to make sure. Mr. Warabi Corporation. Right, so if you just got hard held on second, it's your mental is tough going into the second half. However, getting this pause, the moment to relax, it's you ever every therapist will tell you, it's if you're really, really angry in the moment, I don't know, take deep breaths, go for a walk, do one of your side activities or a chore or something, and then come back with a level head. This will go so far that I think we have a very different game on our hands now that we're switching servers than if we didn't switch servers.
Yeah, I mean, I think in cases like this, any long pauses are usually going to favor they're going to take momentum away from the team that's winning. Ultimately, Dad 2 doesn't really have anything they need to change. Warabi does. This just gives them more time to talk about it, think about it, try to, come up with new plans that can kind of get them back into this, because it'd be a bit of a poor showing otherwise, as we're now back on Vigil. Players are trickling back in, so hopefully we should be
Yeah, let's see. We're hopping the players into the server. I want to make sure I join the SCV one instead of the oh, there we go. Instead of the player server, which I almost did.
Oh, well, you almost... I did do that, and I'm like, wow, why do I have to hit spec here? I don't normally have to do that. Oh, whoops.
You've heard of Caster's Curse, now get ready for Caster's Armageddon. I'm taking this match into my own hands. Here's how to push second.
I'm calling things 90 seconds ahead of you, huh? What do you mean they're sacking? We're still in setup time.
You'll see. So I think in real time, I think the gates just opened, the cart just started moving forward. So basically we didn't see too much out of this offense, but I guess then again, last round we saw them push for just a couple seconds. Or sorry, they got first in a normal way. So I don't know. Do you think, for the defense, there's kind of a lot of talk between the passive hold on first versus the aggressive. Do you think it's even worth like going for the aggro hold in a case like this if you're not super practiced with it?
Absolutely not. I have seen way too many high invite matches where both teams are practiced with it and their med just ends up getting exploded anyway. So I think that you can. I dislike holding your medic past the chicken wire. I think that teams. I like the teams will occasionally play a little bit more aggressive, right? They'll have their heavy up on the the kind of more aggro hill rock rather than back in tunnel. Their demo will play a little bit more forward. You've got their sniper backing them up. You have your NG, maybe the gun's a little bit more forward, right? That's in front of the chicken wire. But I think that we just saw how good of a hold second is, right? It's such a good hold. All it takes is one solid defense, and you can really get some good defensive momentum going. Really start to get in the head of the attacking team. And I think that the first hold is it's awesome in a best case scenario where you manage to both get a successful defense, get solid time on it, and get your med out, and that happens so rarely. And it's not like you get, an extra 5 minutes on the clock. You're going to get 2 minutes at most, and you risk losing second for it. I've been on cast, I've been very established over multiple seasons. I'm very pro forward hold. I think you can be smart with it, again, maybe a bit of a kind of softer hold where you have people play forward, but you don't fully commit to it. And committing your medic's asking for disaster.
Yeah, very true. I guess the way, thinking through my own philosophy, what would I do in this kind of game? I do think that, having your team, strategy and having, the stuff you practice be where you're grounded. And I think changing the strategy as a whole is very different. If you start calling these, massively major plays all of a sudden, sometimes it'll work just by random chance, but I agree that, it works a lot better for a team if you, basically route what you're doing now into your practice and strategically play sound based on what you've practiced, but tactically, if you come up with an idea in the moment, that's when you want to get creative with it. So doing the hold that they know and iterating on it in a way that tweaks it based on the match so far, I think is the right way to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to it a little bit as we now get into setup time here, where to me the way I kind of think about it is is this play going to make you win versus could this play make you lose? Realistically, right? Most of the time you're not going to really get more than 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes additional time on first. Is that going to win you a game? Occasionally, yes. Could having it fail, wiping, losing second, and getting snowballed through third single-handedly lose you a game? Absolutely it could.
Yep.
Very rarely are you going to look back and have a visual that you lost and said, we lost because we couldn't push first fast enough. More likely you're going to look back and say, oh, we lost because our medic exploded 30 seconds into the round on flank, and then we didn't get another hold up until last, and we got capped on in 4.5 minutes. High risk, medium reward.
Amen. Well, we're back here. What is this? The second half of week 4 of Advanced Highlander here from RGL. We are now, the score is basically 1-0 in favor of Dad. This milk is 2% and it's a full gallon. So get cozy, get some cookies ready.
This milk is 50% of the way to getting a win, Rogue.
50% milk. What's the other half then? Right, so both teams, like you mentioned, this standard default here, playing off your sniper. Once you get the enemy sniper, you can all fan out and kind of shove them off of the wide angles. Geez, Brynmovik says Norway in their alias here, and I'm wondering if they're actually in Norway because I saw them wave dashing here on the server.
Wave dashing? What's he gonna do next? L cancel?
It was sliding to the left, but too far to the left, and then slightly back too earlier than you're supposed to go back. Natalie Swala, average, all doing a lot of sort of heavy lifting here on the flank. They, 3v5 basically held everyone off that long angle.
And look, Warabi, listen to me talking about my ideal first ball. This is it. Look, you have Natalie playing more forward than the chicken wire. The gun was forward, but you're not hard committing your medic. You're not really hard committing your engineer. Even when you start losing a couple of players, they're going to pop a banner here to make sure they don't get chased out, which is maybe a little bit more than you'd like to commit. But otherwise, you know, everyone's going to get out. Hard Hat's still alive. They're going to get that gun up on second, and now they you know, they got about a minute on first compared to their own time. So that to me is kind of a low risk, low reward play, and I think that's perfectly fine.
Working away, the Uber does come out. Fuzzy flying forward. Jim's Gims as well. Hornet just kind of stabbing it back. But wait, Kikora and Esper in the back lines take out the gun. It was not level 3. And look at this, even Average going to peek in. Hard Hat Jones peeking in. Wait a second. Your engineer fighting side tunnel and going down for it. The card even going up pretty far. So for the offense to say, great, we won this.
Oh, almost got the stab with the Blizzard. That could have been big, but the turn is going to be enough. But Suwala in on the back, going to find Vandir. Jims lands the reflect, and that's going to avenge the medic right here. But this is Warabi pretty much wiped. That too coming through really good push. You know, the Vandir is a good consolation, you know, salvage play, but it's only going to make sure that Zoomzy has a little bit of that. Second's already gone, so another strong offense coming out from the side of Dead 2.
It's actually, I think, like round saving for Suwala to die for the medic, because if Vandir had ad going into this point, that would be match. Now, basically, Vandir has to reset. You know, they slow play third here. Work the card up the main angle, work the flank, and spread your team out as far as you can. But right now, it's only Lit kind of just peeking into whoever they can find. So, yeah, kind of opting for the low ground, and I'm not super sure why.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to see if that works out for them. I mean, I think that Wilson here on the, you know, heavy rock spot always going to be a player you kind of, just that heavy, they're always a potential take if you can catch him out, but really no flank pressure at all. Suwala going to jump, going to get popped up, not able to land. And what else we're going to do, Uber gets popped out in tracks though. Jim's doing a great job going, that'll be into the corner right there. Going to stop any potential stickies cutting off the back out, but kills all going in favor of Warabi right now. So good defense from them. No one's really dropping other than Suwala's going to be an occasional pick that they find. But Hard Hat's going to go down and lose the gun too. So things could be turning around right now for Dad, as a big bomb coming in from Esper helped blow up Biskov, and the rest of the team now flooding in behind. Big air blast right there from Hornet. Blows everyone back, buys some seconds, but it's not going to be enough.
Is Zoomzy, oh, whoa, a late shot from Lit onto Average. That means the flank is going to be pretty open for the offense to swing wide and see if they can grab that gun from Hard Hat Jones before it goes all the way up. Getting spammed out now, all the offense is making their way through main. But wait a second, the dot from Biskov is looking towards Lit. Who will win? Nobody, or both? Either way, Uber comes up for the offense right now, 92% on Zoomzy.
Yeah, man, gonna get popped out by Vandir right now. Zoomzy will have in time, no risk there. Fuzzy gonna have to just head for the hills right here. No ground to be had. But Bloom finds Maleficent over towards flank right there. That could be an opening. Suwala gonna get collapsed on as well. So it's free for Esper to walk right in, getting some good rockets onto that'll be forcing them back. Hornet gonna be caught out next. The rest of Dad 2 storming into last right now. Biskov in spawn. Gonna need to try to get a pick, but standing on a sticky, not finding anything. Cart approaching the hill. Looks like they may cap it right off of this.
And no Ubers on the board, and there's still 4 down for the defense. And wait a second, Holly all the way back on his Doomsday and does seal the deal. So now Hard Hat Jones diving on the cart, goes down for it. It's just Maleficent getting declicked on by Bloom, does not get the pick. But yeah, Kikora, Vandir, Jim's Gims, you know, basically reflecting everything back to get this cart up the ramp. Thar, she blows. Maleficent having to really collapse on the cart here, and Esper with a nice rocket fadeaway.
Yeah, good work by the players on Warabi coming in to try to salvage this cart. They're going to get it a little bit away. Hard Hat now standing on it. Getting shot at by Fuzzy. Uber's popped out now. That is not a good sign. But Hard Hat's still on it. He's just sitting in the middle of this Uber. Cloaking device on the engineer. They're going to start picking up kills, and that will finally be it. The cap coming in. But, you know, another 30 to 40 seconds maybe bought on that last hold. Warabi's going to need to find a cap on second here if they want to make good of that. But all it takes is, you know, one mistake from the side of Dad 2. That snowball comes up, and suddenly those extra seconds could be meaningful.
Yeah, you'd kind of think like of us saying like singing the praises of Dad 2 here, that like, oh, they played super well and like, you know, Mr. Warabi like had a hard time, but no, actually like 6 minutes 8 seconds, that's a good time, but it's not like amazing. It's not like, you know, in the 4 minutes pushing 3 minutes, that's when like it's almost unwinnable. This is like, you know, better than average of a time, but I think, yeah, for Warbico, they did a great job, I think, of like squeezing time on the clock where they could find it. Yeah, they did like lose these points each in turn, but like the clock doesn't necessarily reflect that.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just, it feels like you see what happens, right? If you're able to get that second push off, you know, all it takes is that one domino falling, and then suddenly second goes through, third's gonna fall pretty much right after. And I mean, it was a good job of Robbie as well to really buy those seconds on both first and last, because their second and third weren't too good. And now look at this, Vandir playing forward right now. The rest of the team, where is the guns, and the Brand's got it in the meme spot underneath the right by the back of the cart. See if the funny gun kills anyone.
Right now, Vandir and the rest of the defense working their way back. Wait a second, Swalla onto the medic, gets one shot and that's it. So staying nice and healthy on the dispenser. Maleficent weirdly like very forward, gets...
Maleficent gets...
Oh, wait a second, that's a...
Brand rescue rangered his gun, got the mini crits on him, and then the damage fall off means he dies instantly. That'll be found Rich, right, or Lit, excuse me, right away too. So good picks right there, should really help them open up first. A much stronger defense right now from the side of Dad that maybe they actually can put up with those numbers down, and they're going to start playing back. Steven finds another kill onto Lit. Bloom now going to go down as well. Offense keeping up the pressure.
It's actually crazy losing their engineer so early. Losing Sniper, like, honestly, losing Spy is a big deal here, because your Spy is the one whose calls, like, they're going up the hill, they're going through the tunnel, they're, like, posturing with Uber for side tunnel. Now, actually, the offense is taking a bit long. I think it was worth going, even though Cart's pretty far back, but okay, they opted, let's say, to go for sort of a sack instead. Yeah, Maleficent is in, Zavala's in, that'll be just walking forward. It's a little bit more dry when they get the cart up, that's fine.
Yep, that sack going a little bit wry. They're gonna find Esper, knocks off any chance of a banner. That's gonna be about it, though. I mean, and you know, you're looking at a familiar enemy here. If you're Warabi, failed to cap second last time. First sack could have been a little bit better time. Felt like Sola kind of went in alone, got rerouted by the gun. And I mean, 4 minutes is enough to get last here, but you got to get second pretty quickly. So. See Steven behind, gonna get caught out. Good wrangling by Bran. Steven getting chased all the way into third. That's a huge spy pick right here. As the Uber's actually gonna get forced. I didn't see who forced that off. It must have been an exchange. But here comes in the dry pressure we were talking about. Swallow coming in up top, getting good damage in on this dispenser. Maleficent peeking from side tunnel, may be able to find something. Couple of kills going in their favor. Bloom and Jin down, but more dead on the offense. And they leverage those spawn timers. And look, Cora so hurt, gonna be forced all the way back. This damage is so huge. Steven going for the decloak. Vandir turns around just in time, and the gun's gonna take out Steven. So close. Suala in again. Finds Holly this time. The action keeps up.
And that'll be just WM1 at the sentry gun and gets it. Goes down for it, sure, but no sentry gun. That means your team is set up on the high ground here. Even Biscoff getting a quick headshot. Vandir getting healed up. And wow, I think we saw the same deal with pushing over that hill. Like, half the defense had like a single digit worth of HP, and Warbico just like didn't have that kind of follow through to seal the deal. Maybe a couple players later through side tunnel, maybe like 1 or 2 playmakers shoving across hill. But wait, they built Uber a bit quicker. They're using across hill.
Yeah, but Natalie's gonna just get launched back. Jim's with the gravity cannon. Pushes them all the way down. Vandir does end up popping in as well, so it is just an exchange. But yeah, that felt so close. Like one pipe could have found a full team wipe. Wilson now pitching up through tunnel. Fuzzy's gonna get caught out. Lit and Esper gonna be next. HHJ gets the punch onto Bloom. Average got some good pressure on the cart. Vandir hurt and pushed back right now, but Suala's in the shutter. Finds Bran and the gun. Cora finally gonna fall, and with it, the seemingly unpushable second. 2.5 minutes on the map right now, but Zoomzy building up a slight ad. No gun for a while, going to be on third, and look, offense already rolling in right here, pressure on the corner.
Yep, this is a doable time. I really wish the offense actually stayed on that flank angle. You want to kind of control that high ground, make the defense, make it so the defense can't even peek the cart while your cart pushers get close. Right now, they're like drawing the eyes to the cart for the combo, so you are helping the defense a ton by playing on this low ground. I strongly recommend not doing this play. And right now, Biscoff has no bump. Like, he's getting spammed by the soldier. Your sniper's dead in the water. Yeah, by not having the team playing on the flank. Huge mistake. I think if they watch this cast, please work on this push.
Flank control with this, so no sniper to really take advantage of it, but is in the staging ground for the Uber popped off onto that'll be even Ubers right now. Gun not really going to get hit up low. Suala playing in lower, not going to find anything either, but they have so much cart time. That was all they needed. Cart makes it up the hill. No pick needed or anything. Steven finds Fuzzy on the back line, and they will get the cap. Number of frags coming in right at the end, but Meds stay alive. That's all they need. 1 minute, 15 seconds and a dream for Warabi to keep this game, keep this match still alive. Spawn's just coming up on defense. Not really too much of a snowball you're going to be able to do here. You usually need your heavy up on the head glitch. Good reflect by Jim to keep that gun building. As Biscoff a little bit aggro on flank, getting ganged up on, will go down to the cleaver. As the rest of Warabi trying to take flank control. Having a sniper right now would be helpful, but Uber is about to come up. Zoomzy built a nice 15 adder, so they'd have to leverage this, and it doesn't look like they're going to. Zoomzy has, but not using anytime soon.
You hate to see it. It's like, oh, you would have like almost basically like very high likelihood to win if you use this ad, but
Uber popped out. Here we go. Last time, Gun's already down. Fuzzy's caught out. Gets flashed right at the end, but Biscoff's gonna go down. The only frag so far. Dekora overextended. Jim's gonna be next. Tons of frags. Bloom finds 2 on the flank, it looks like. And maybe that's gonna be enough, but so many kills. Yep, almost all of them on to Warabi. Thought there might have been a chance right there. GG's coming out, and we will see that too. Coming in with the upset here, taking a 2-0 over Warabi. Both teams now will move to 3-1, and I don't know if we're going to be back in advance this season, but let this be kind of your warning to keep an eye on those games. We're now suddenly going to have a really kind of a rock paper scissors 3-way tie, most likely at the top of advanced, with a number of teams looking to potentially go 4-1 if this all holds up. So crazy game.
Yeah, cheers to the excellent play that we saw here coming out of Dad 2. It feels like they put a lot of homework into this map, and also the individual players, like Kikoro was brilliant, like you mentioned. I mean, yeah, Vander was very good, like sharp on those Ubers. I think across the board, I love what I saw out of everyone involved. Yeah, I guess it's interesting especially like when a higher team gets sort of upset, it's like they really kind of have your number for the rest of the season. So yeah, I'm curious to see what it looks like for these teams as they go through the rest of Advanced.
Yeah, I mean, again, just really solid. We can take a look at the stat lines. I don't think it's going to tell you too much. I mean, ultimately, it was closer than the first half, but still not ultimately that close. I mean, I think we know what Warabi's banning in playoffs.
Yeah, that sounds likely. Yeah, so we're I guess as we work on bringing up the logs here, I'll take another second, I think, to congratulate these teams. Like, having this kind of structure and discipline, it feels so winnable from so many of these plays. And everyone at home, please, for the love of God, do not push third from the low ground. It is, even despite what you saw here, it will consistently be pretty bad, especially once teams realize that you're giving up the high ground to them and letting them have 2 high grounds instead of 1. If that's your only takeaway, then I've done my job.
Gee, Zachy, why does your mom let you have 2 high grounds?
Yeah, listen, so I'm gonna see if yes, it looks like we have these stats coming up on your screen. This time Fuzzy, both the top frag and top damage in the server, going 16 and 5. Yeah, very strong out of your demo man. It's not like Nat will be played again too far off, just because again on the losing team you expect to get fewer of those picks, but only a couple fewer picks, only a little bit less damage, not that big of a difference. But actually, Holly doing great, going 14 and 4 despite being a cart pusher for half of the round. Let me see. Actually, both medics only like having 1 death and 2 deaths. That's, I think, a lot to be said
I
about
think
a match
Vandir
like
only
this.
had 1 death for the entire game, which is phenomenal. I mean, there was a point on second where I saw Steven going for a decloak, and you're turned around mid stab animation, and if he goes down there, you may have been looking at, instead of a minute 15 on last, you're looking at 2:33 minutes on last, and it felt like Warabi was starting to feel it a little bit more towards the end, just kind of too little too late in their case. Almost a shame now that I think about it that this isn't a best of 5, because like with the improvements that we saw Warabi make from half 1 to half 2, it felt like if there was a half 3, then maybe things are gonna be closer, right? But unfortunately, not how it works, and you got to show up. There are no courtesy rounds in in Highlander, so
Right. Well, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I don't think there's really too much from us. Not gonna do too much post game analysis. Don't think we're really gonna see advanced again this season. But as I said, definitely do keep an eye out on those matches. Not sure if they're gonna be either casted elsewhere, or just your reminder to check the standings, the match results page every week to see what's going on, because there's a lot of horses in this race.
Amen. And we will be back next week bringing you the Invite Highlander playoffs. So that's our double elimination playoffs here to decide the best Highlander team in North America, which is also a contender for best team in the world, since there's only so many regions at the end of the day. So yeah, tune in for that. In the meantime, I'll shout out again, if you take a nice look on our screen here, we have at merch.rgl.gg. You can get some great RGL merch here. There's the fall collection for 2020, whatever year it is. And there's a bunch of fun stuff we mentioned before. They have like fun like secret strat notebooks, different like mouse pads, like hoodies, stuff to support the teams, stuff with cool art, stuff that's more minimalist, more maximalist, everything in between. You'll also see from the homepage of the merch store, there's sort of a subscription. You can subscribe sort of like a Patreon basically for RGL. This league is kind of run and operated by all the staff and players and volunteers and everyone who makes this league awesome. So any of your contributions are very much appreciated and help us keep doing what we love doing here in such a great game. So that's my last plug, at least so far.
You're much better at those than I am, so I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for watching. As Rogue said, we'll be back with Invite next week. I think people who are hungry for a Pastas cast tonight and didn't get it will likely see that next week, as I believe it'll be it's a 16 bracket, but given that we only have 5 teams, it effectively turns into the 4 and 5 seed playing a play-in to get in, and that will be MNK versus Pastas. So if that's what you've been waiting for, you're in luck, as that should be the next match we'll cast. So I think that might be a Monday chance that gets played on the weekend. Stay tuned to the regular sources in the Discord to make sure you know when that next cast is. But next, again, stay tuned in. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.